kıymetli mensupları,
Valuable
saygıdeğer
members of our Rize
hanımefendiler, beyefendiler,
organization,
istikbalimizin
esteemed ladies and
teminatı,
gentlemen,
sevgili
distinguished
gençler,
guests,
değerli
the
dava ve yol
guarantee of our
arkadaşlarım,
future, dear youth.
sizleri en kalbi
Dear friends,
duygularımla, hasretle,
at cause, I would
muhabbetle
like to
selamlıyorum.
greet you all with the most heartfelt sentiments,
Bugün bir
longing and
kez daha
affection.
Rize'li
Today,
hemşehrilerimle bir araya gelmenin bahtiyarlığı
I
içerisinde
feel happy
şahsıma
for
gösterdiğiniz
I
teveccüh
have come together one
ve
more time
vefa dolayısıyla
with my fellow citizens
sizlerin
from
nezdinde
Rize. I would like to thank you all
tüm
very much for the
hemşehrilerime
kindness you have
gönülden
shown
teşekkür ediyorum.
to me and to my party. I would
Genişletilmiş
like to
il
thank
danışma
on behalf of my
toplantımızın
nation. And I
şehrimiz,
hope that the
partimiz
provincial
ve
consultative
teşkilatımız için hayırlara vesile olmasını
meeting
Allah'tan
will
diliyorum.
be auspicious for our
Kuruluşundan
party, for
itibaren
our provincial
AK Parti'yi bağrına
organization,
basan,
and our
AK
country.
Parti'yi destekleyen
From the
tüm
foundation
kardeşlerime
on, all
şahsım,
brothers and sisters who
teşkilatım adına
supported AK Party,
şükranlarımı sunuyorum.
who stood with
İl ve ilçe
AK Party, I would like to thank
yönetimlerine,
to you all very
kadın
much.
ve gençlik
From the
kollarımıza,
provincial heads to
milletvekillerimizden
the
belediye
members of our
başkanlarımıza,
women's and
mahalle
youth
ve
branches, from
sandık
our deputies
temsilcilerimize kadar
to
her
the
kademedeki
neighborhood or district
kardeşlerime
representatives
teşekkür
or
ediyorum.
our ballot
Teşkilat
box
bünyesinde
observers.
her
I
zaman
would
için
like to thank to
Rize
everyone.
hep
In
başı
terms
çekti.
of our organizational
Hep önde
structure,
oldu.
Rize
İnanıyorum ki
province
bu
has
defa
always
çok
taken
daha
the
farklı bir
foreground,
şekilde
has always been on the
neticeler
front
alır.
line. And I
Rize'yi
believe that it will
teşkilatımızda
be
görev
bearing
almış.
very
Bugün
special
aramızda
consequences.
bulunmayan dar bekaya
Those
uğurladığımız
who
kardeşlerimize
took
de
roles in
minnet
our ranks
duygularımı
and
ifade
who
ediyor.
are not
Kendilerini
anymore
rahmetle
with
yad
us,
ediyorum.
I
Allah
remember them
hepinizden razı
with
olsun.
gratitude and pray for the
Rabbim
mercy of God
kardeşliğimizi,
on their soul.
birliğimizi,
May God
yol
bless you all,
arkadaşlığımızı daim
and
etsin.
shall our brotherhood, our
Rabbim
fraternity, and
muhabbetimizi,
our friendship
kuvvetimizi,
at cause
dayanışmamızı
last
daim kılsın.
forever. Shall our
Bugüne kadar hamdolsun
unison
siz bizi hiç
be
mahcup etmediniz.
everlasting.
İnşallah
And thanks
biz
be
de
to
size
God,
ve
you
Rize'ye
have never
mahcup
put us to
olmadık,
shame, and
olmayacağız.
we have so far not felt any shame or whatsoever in front of you, and we will not.
Gençler, nasıl Rize
Dear
bizi
youth,
asla yarı yolda
just
bırakmadıysa,
like Rize
İnşallah
province never
biz de Rizeli
left
kardeşlerimizin
us alone
emanetine
halfway in the
halel
middle,
getiremedik, getirmeyiz.
we also have never harmed the kindness,
Son
the
19 yıldır olduğu
solidarity
gibi
of our
Rize'ye
brothers and
olan
sisters
vefa
from
ve
Rize.
minnet borcumuzu
We have
yeni
a debt
eserler,
of
yeni
gratitude
yatırımlarla
to
ödemeyi
Rize,
sürdüreceğiz.
and we will continue
Nitekim dün ve
paying
bugün
our debt.
Rize'de
Our
hem
sincere
hemşehrilerimizle
love
hasbihal ettik,
for
hem de
Rize
inşası
over the
tamamlanan
past 19
eserlerin
years with
açılış
many other
sevincini,
projects.
yapılacak
Yesterday and
eserlerin
today
temel
we
atma
were
heyecanını
very pleased
beraberce
and
yaşadık.
felt the excitement
Hani
and the enthusiasm
durmak
of
yok,
the projects
yola devam.
and investments we started
Şehrimize
and we inaugurated
kazandırdığımız
officially. We
tüm bu
always say
eser,
that we will never
yatırım
stop,
ve
but we will
hizmetlerin
continue on our
Rize'ye
path.
hayırlı olmasını
And I
diliyor.
hope all those
Emeği
investments,
geçenleri
great
canı
works,
gönülden tebrik
and
ediyorum.
projects will be auspicious for our Rize province. And I wholeheartedly congratulate everyone who contributed to the fruition of these projects.
Kardeşlerim, geçen ay partinin kuruluşunun
My brothers and
20.
sisters,
yıl dönümünü
we
geride bıraktık.
celebrated the
Artık
20th anniversary of
hiçbir
the
şey
foundation
eskisi gibi
of
olmayacak
AK
diyerek
Party.
çıktığımız
in
bu
the
zorlu
previous week.
yolculukta 20 yıldır
In
alnımız
this
ak,
rough patch
başımız dik
on
bir
which
şekilde
we say
yürüyor.
nothing will be the
Bu
same
süreçte
again,
nelerle
we
karşılaştığımızı,
always say
hangi
that we
badireleri
walk
atlattığımızı, bu salonda bulunan
our heads
partimizin
high up and our
emektarları
shoulders back.
gayet iyi biliyor,
And
iyi
those
hatırlıyor.
who took
Gazete küpürleri
responsibility,
üzerinde
at the ranks of this party know it very well. Using some columns, some pieces over newspapers, some tried to close our party down, and they talked about the calamity of 367, and under the so-called Republican meetings, they made calls for military coup, and they used terrorist organizations to bring our country to the verge of chaos, and through Gezi protests they wanted to turn our people against one another. On December 1725, they mobilized the traitors in the police law enforcement, and then on July the 15th they mobilized the traitors in our military, and we encountered and endured various types of attacks and treason. But thanks be to God, have we overcome all those? Have we not? Be louder. So you are good when you are singing the anthems, but when it comes to speaking the words that shall come from the bottom of heart, I see you fell a bit silent, dear youth, but God willingly we have upset all plans set against us. And in this process, we witnessed the sincerity of our nation. And on the other hand, we witnessed the treason and the lack of sincerity of the opposition in this process. Rather than owning up to democracy, some spoke the words of the tutelage makers, threatened the nation, the Great Assembly. We saw some enthusiastic about the military coup, and we saw those people who tried to have the party which they couldn't defeat at the ballot boxes be closed through maybe covert or open messages. We saw some newspapers who made calls for military coups. And in Gezi protests, we saw the chapulists who plundered the products, the properties of people, who stirred up the streets against the national will. In the bureaucratic military coup attempt, we saw some designated the stands of the parliament to the use of fetoist traitors. And in the trench protests, we saw that the separatist terror organization, rendered their bodies live shields to those people who they called dear friends. And who was this person? The chairperson of the main opposition party. Rather than climbing up to the tops of tanks, there were those who leaked their way out among the tanks to take safeguard for themselves. And who was that? The chairperson of the main opposition party, Mr. Kemal. Rather than supporting our exploration activities in the Eastern Mediterranean, there were those who hit the headlines in the Greek newspapers. And who was that? Mr. Kemal. From the Euphrates Shield to the Peace Spring to Olive Branch, and also all the way to our Karabakh and Libya operations, we, for the existence of our country and safety and security of our people, took many steps, but those people stood against us in all those steps. We saw those people who scared the investors to damage our economy. We saw those who made complaints to some circles abroad about our country. We saw those who set to bargaining with IMF commissioners at some hotel lobbies. And who was that? Who were these people? The team of Mr. Kemal. To turn Turkey into a country like Syria, we saw those who used their venomous tongues to manipulate and provocate our people. And at the top of all those actions, we saw CHP. And at the top of CHP, we saw the terror of lies. And that same mentality from the past into the future even deteriorated more and more. They did business with every other and became a spokesperson for every other circle. And they left no value that has so far not been violated. But over the years, just for once, have they stood with the downtrodden, with the oppressed, or with our country. The empathy they showed to the terrorists in trench protests was not shown to the mothers of Diyarbakir, whose hearts are burning for the past 3 years.
15 Temmuz'un hemen ardından
Right after July the 15th, for the Fethuists, Kılıçdaroğlu marched from Ankara to Istanbul, and he has not visited just for once so far the mothers of Diyarbakir for over 732 days. They have not owned up or embraced the people whose children were abducted by the separatist terror organization, not only in terms of the Diyarbakir issue, but when it comes to all the other matters that are related with the existence of our country and the safety and security of our people. They never cared. And when they were marching from Ankara to Istanbul, with whom they were standing arm in arm and shoulder to shoulder, well, they were together with the people who were arrested on accusations or allegations of terrorism. My dear brothers and sisters, across us we have some people and their mindset which has disgraced itself. And we have a political understanding that has poisoned itself and its rational and reason, and we now see that they take actions that goes to embarrassment, even though in their ranks there are issues of corruption, rape, shame, embarrassment, and many other things. They do not refrain from dynamiting the agenda of our country. Indeed, the biggest harm that this mentality brings is on the politics of our country by darkening the prospects of our youth. And CHP, just like a Trojan horse, tries to make the political institution collapse from within. Just like CHP opened the path to May 27 with its lies and provocations, it does the same with its politics of lies and hatred. The lies, hatred, manipulation, or slander campaigns they have been running over the last months only aim to open the path clear for some other parties. CHP, which has been defeated many times over the past years in all elections, is playing a dangerous game, the fire of which will burn potentially the nation itself. CHP does not accept, deny who writes those games and scenarios for them. Even the mayors of CHP and their own leaders deny that. But we as the People's Alliance and AK Party defy that and deem it our task, our duty to frustrate such games set against us. The main ranks of AK Party, we will work hard without stopping, relentlessly, day and night. We will work hard, and there will be no single door we have not knocked on. Mothers, women's branches, especially
Kapısı
you.
çalınmadık ev
You will knock on every
bırakmayacaksınız.
door.
Şunu unutmayın.
And never
Kale
forget,
içeriden fethedilir.
you can only
Onu fethedecek olan
conquer
da
a
sizlersiniz.
castle from within. And you are those who will conquer it.
Gençler, sizler de
Dear youth, the
durmaksızın
same goes for you.
bütün arkadaşlarınızla
With no
gece
pause,
gündüz
with
demeden
all your friends,
koşturacak,
day and night,
çalışacak
24/7,
ve
you will
hani
work,
diyorlar ya,
you will
Z
work
kuşağı.
hard.
Hangi
Now they
kuşak
call it
olursa
a
olsun,
they
bütün
call
bu
it Generation
kuşakları
Z.
siz
No matter what generation it
fethedeceksiniz.
is, you will be conquering all those generations.
Gençler, ben sizlere inanıyorum.
Dear youth, I believe in you.
Ben kadın kollarımıza
I
inanıyorum.
believe in our women's branches.
Ana kademeye inanıyorum.
I believe in our main ranks.
Kadın kollarımız bu işi başarmaya hazır mı?
Are our women's
Hazır
branches
mı?
ready to achieve that?
O kadar.
Are you ready?
Eyvallah.
And that's that.
Bu
Thank you.
anlayışla
With
birileri
this
Ankara'daki
understanding,
sıcak köşklerinde
even though
yurt
some
dışındaki
do
mahfillerle
stay
el
in
ele
their
verip
ivory
yüksek
towers in
siyasetçilik
Ankara by
oynarken
cooperating
biz
with some members, some circles
milletimizle
of
kucaklaşıyor,
foreign forces,
milletimizin
we
derdine,
embrace our people
sevincine
and
ortak oluyoruz.
we share the joy
Başkaları
and the
hizmet diye
sadness,
musluk
the
açarken,
sorrows of our
temel atmama
nation.
törenleri yaparken, temeli
When
atılmış
while
projelerin
some
üstüne
people
beton dökerken,
organize
biz
ceremonies
81
of
vilayetimizin
not
her bir
laying the
köşesine
grounds or
eserlerimizle
not opening or
mührümüzü vuruyoruz.
inaugurating projects, we
Birileri
are adorning our
Orhan
country
Köprüsü'nde
and
olduğu
bringing
gibi
our stamp
bu ülkeye
on it
sığınanları
across the whole country
katillerine teslim
by
etmenin hesabını
opening
yaparken
projects
biz
one after the other.
insanlığımızın gereği
We
olarak
are doing
mazlum
what
ve
our
mağdurlara
humanity, what our
sahip çıkıyoruz.
principles of humanity
Birileri
demands and
benzetmeleriyle
embrace
yeni
the
fitneleri,
oppressed,
yeni
while do
senaryolar
some
peşinde koşarken
chase after
biz
new dissension
84
and
milyonun
scenarios.
kardeşliğini,
We, on the other
birlik ve
hand,
beraberliğini
make
savunuyoruz.
calls for
Ne
the
diyor
defense of the
Meral Hanım?
unity of 84 million people.
Bizans'ı
And what does Miss Meral
kalkıp
Akşener says?
fethetmiş. Ki
She talks
şu
about the
anda
conquering of the
İstanbul'un belediye
Byzantine,
başkanı.
and he says someone conquered
Sabırlı ol,
it.
sabırlı ol, sabırlı
Who?
ol, sabırlı ol.
She says,
Ya
the mayor of
biz İstanbul'da şunu
Istanbul,
görmedik
she
mi?
says.
Zulüm
But have
1453'te
we not
başladı diye
seen in
duvarları
Istanbul
yazanları Meral Hanım nasıl savunuyorsun? Nasıl onlarla beraber
that some
aynı yola giriyorsun?
spoke words
Bizans
that the
Olayını
persecution
bu şekilde
started
dönüştüren ve
in
zulüm
Istanbul in 1453?
1453'te
And how
başladı
come can you
ifadesini
defend these
kullananlarla
people, Miss
beraber
Meral?
nasıl oluyorsun?
And how can you be together with those who used such phrases?
Dolmabahçe
phrases
Sarayı'nın
as
Dolmabahçe
such.
Sarayı'nın Dolmabahçe Sarayı'nın makam olarak kullandığım yerde
At
evet,
Dolmabahçe
tam karşı
Palace,
duvarına
where I use as an
zulüm
office,
1453'te
right across
başladı diye
it,
yazan
on the
geziciler.
wall, the Gezi
Meral Hanım, işte
people
sen bu gezicilerle
wrote
berabersin.
the
Yolun açık olsun.
persecution started in 1453.
Yolun
So,
açık
Miss
olsun.
Meral, you are now with these people.
Gençler, biz yolumuzu
Dear
iyi belirledik
youth, we
ve bizim yolumuz
have
evet,
a clear
onların
path,
gittiği yol değil.
and our path is not the
Ya
path
Bizans'ı
they
alırım,
take.
ya Bizans
Our
beni
path
alır. Bu
is the
akide
path
bizimdir.
of the
Bizim.
principle,
Onların değil.
of the motto, either the Byzantine takes me or I take it.
Biz bunu Ayasofya'nın açılışıyla ispat ettik.
We proved that with the opening of
Onlar ise
Hagia
tam
Sophia.
aksine Ayasofya
While
nasıl
them,
kapalı
on the
kalır diye
contrary,
gayret ettiler.
while they tried, on the
Ve
contrary, to make sure
biz
that Hagia Sophia remained
gayretimizin
closed.
neticesini
But thanks be to God, we have reaped the fruits of our efforts.
ve
God
şu
blessed
anda
us with
işte
those.
ta Fatih'ten bu yana
And
kapalı kalan
from
Hagia
Fatih's
Sophia açıldı
period
ve sahiplerine
era
kavuştu.
on, Hagia Sophia now has welcomed its real owners.
Gençler bir taraftan unutmayın yol projeleri.
Dear youth, do not forget, on one hand we have road projects, environment projects, housing projects, just like we did in Rize today and yesterday, tunnel projects. We have many projects ongoing so that we can leave a stronger and more prosperous country for our next generations in the future. When I see the houses built by Toki, I pray to God and I feel grateful to God, for He has blessed us with that. And we can observe the local architecture displayed in Rize thanks to those great works, those great construction projects, and we will see even more coming. And right after the tunnel opening ceremony today, we saw the dwelling houses, all the houses and building blocks built by Toki, which brings a good atmosphere and a spacious environment to Rize. And we now ahead of us have another project, Rize Artvin Airport, and by the end of the year hopefully we will have completed the construction of Rize Artvin Airport by the end of this year. And hopefully with the opening of the airport at the end of the year, the traveling time will be reduced by 25 minutes, so it will take about 25 minutes to go to Rize and maybe 25 or 30 minutes to travel to Artvin. And how were those tunnels constructed? I in particular highlight that for our brothers and sisters from Artvin. How did we opened through those mountains in Artvin with that so that our people, our fellow citizens from Artvin could drive through those mountains with no challenger whatsoever at all?
Bunların hesabı çok aslında. Bunlara çok hesap sorulması lazım. Şimdi
well, these people should be held accountable, those who objected. Now this tunnel is called Can Kurtaran. Now it is called Lifesaver, and Mr. Binali Yildirim also had a lot of efforts he exerted, and we digged through those mountains, and this is how we marched on our journey, and this is how we built the Can Kurtaran tunnel.
Şu anda can kurtaran tünelinden memnun muyuz?
Are we now happy
Nerede
about
Artvin
the
yok mu
Can
hiç?
Kurtaran tunnel?
Nerede?
Do we have some fellow citizens from Artvin here in this room?
Öyle mi? Hadi bakalım. Tabii mutluyuz.
Yes, of
Hele
course, we are
Şimdi bir
happy.
havalimanı bittiği anda
And once the
yani
airport
çayı
is
da
fully
Rize
constructed,
Artvin havalimanının bardağından içersiniz.
you will be sipping your tea
Ama bir
at
çay
the
bardağı
Rize
da burada
Artvin
Rize'de var.
airport.
Burada da içebilirsiniz. Şimdi gayretimiz bundan sonra çok
So
daha
after this
farklı
point
olacak.
on, our efforts
İnşallah
will
birilerinin
become even
ufku,
more different.
taş ve laf yığınlarından öteye geçemezken biz
Even though
taarruzi
some
insansız hava
horizons
aracımız
are short,
Akıncılarla dünya harp tarihini
too short to
yeniden
go
yazıyoruz.
beyond words and uttering, we do make the world history again with our
Sınırlarımız
new
içinde terör
Akıncı
örgütlerine
unmanned
nefes
aerial
aldırmadığımız gibi
combat
sınırlarımız
vehicles.
dışında da
Just like we
terör
do not let the
bataklığını
terror
kurutmak için
organizations take a single
teröristlerin
breath
tüm
within
kamplarını
our borders,
basıyor
we
ve
do raid
tepelerine-
all the camps of
tepelerine biniyor.
terrorists across the border, and we
Maruz
crush on them.
kaldığımız onca saldırıya, iç ve dış
Despite all the
operasyona,
attacks,
gizli açık
internal
vesayet
and
girişimine
external
hedefimizden
operations,
asla taviz vermedik,
open or
vermiyoruz. İnşallah
uh,
bundan sonra da mücadelemizi
discreet
aynı kararlılıkla
attacks
sürdüreceğiz.
towards us,
Türkiye'yi
we
kendi ülkesinin
will
ve
be standing
milletinin
resolute in our
felaketinden
fight and
medet
struggle.
uman muhteris bir
We will
zihniyetin
not
eline
be leaving
bırakamayız.
Turkey to
Muhalefetin
the
çapsızlığının,
members of
muhalefetin
an
beceriksizliğinin,
uncapable
muhalefetin içinde
capacity,
debelendiği siyasi
uncapable
tükenmişliğin bizi rehavete sürüklemesine
mindset,
kesinlikle
and we will not
müsaade edemeyiz.
let those
Bunun
people
için
to
öncelikle
drag
AK
us
Partili
into
kadrolar olarak
complacency.
kardeşliğimizin
So as the
perçinlememiz,
ranks of AK Party, we need to
aramızdaki
first
dayanışmayı
reinforce
daha da artırmamız
our
gerekiyor.
brotherhood
Bunun
and
yanında
further
milletimizle
grow
olan
our
bağlarımızı da
solidarity
sürekli canlı
among
tutmamız,
us. And we need to
güçlendirmemiz
keep
şarttır.
the bonds with
Sahada
our nation
vatandaşımız
always
ilk önce ve hep
lively
AK Partili kadroları
and
görmeli.
own up to our
Yani
togetherness.
şunu
And
ben
our
duymamalıyım.
nation should always see the AK Party ranks on the front lines. So we should not hear from anybody say that you have not come to us, you have not knocked on our doors.
AK Partili
On the
kadroları
contrary, people should be able to say whenever I look around on the streets, I see the members, the teams, or the ranks
gördük,
of AK
görüyoruz
Party.
demek.
So people should be
Yani
able
bu
to
çay
say
denizi
that.
öyle olmalı.
This should be the
Öbür
case
tarafta
for
Kendil'de
Rize
öyle
and
olmalı.
for
Salara'da
other
öyle
districts of
olmalı.
Rize,
Her yerde öyle
in
olmalı.
Kanderli, in Çayeli, and
Derdini, tasasını,
everywhere.
sevincini ilk vatandaşımız bizlerle paylaşmalı.
So our citizens should
oy
be
versin,
able to
vermesin.
share their concerns,
düşen her
their
bir
sorrows, or
kardeşimizin
happiness
imdadına
with us.
ilk
Doesn't
önce
matter if they
AK Partili
vote
kadrolar
for our
koşmalı.
favor or not. If a citizen is in need and challenge,
İmdadına biz
then
yetişeceğiz.
the ranks, the teams of AK Party
Düşkün mü?
should rush to their
İmdadına
help.
biz yetişeceğiz.
Are they sick? Then we
Darda
will
mı
rush to
kaldı?
their help.
İmdadına
Are they
biz
in need?
yetişeceğiz.
Then we will rush
Elhamdülillah.
for their help.
İmkanlar var mı?
And
Var.
do we have the
zaman
means?
hepsinin yanında biz
Yes,
olacağız.
thanks be to God, we do.
Tevazu,
That's why we will
samimiyet
always stand
ve
with them.
gayretin
Sincerity,
aşamayacağı hiçbir
humbleness,
engel yok.
and efforts
Yeter
can
ki biz
overcome
çalışalım,
all problems.
koşalım,
As long as
gayret
we work,
gösterelim.
we run,
Yeter ki biz
and
millete
we show
hizmet
effort,
vermemizden,
it will be done.
millete olan
As
hizmet
long as we
sevdamızdan taviz
continue
vermeyelim.
serving our nation
Yeter ki
and we
biz
never
hakkın
compromise on
rızasını
our love
gözeterek
for our nation,
halkımıza
it
hizmet
will be done.
etmekten bir an
As
olsun
long as
geri durmayalım.
we do not avoid
izniyle
serving
gerisi gelecek.
our nation
Unutmayalım.
even for 1 second,
İnsan için
and the rest
çalıştığının
will
karşılığı
come.
vardır.
And do not forget that you
Allah
will
doğru olanın,
see
dürüst olanın, sabırla
the
ve
return
samimiyetle
of what
çalışanın
you worked for.
en büyük yardımcısı.
God will be the biggest
sizlere
helper
güveniyorum.
of those who work
Özellikle
and
kadın ve
produce
gençlik kollarımızdan
sincerely. I
önümüzdeki
firmly
süreçte
believe in you
daha
all.
çok çaba
In
bekliyorum.
particular, I expect more efforts from our women's and youth branches in the upcoming periods.
Hanım kardeşlerim, bugünkü
My
toplantıdan sonra
sisters, after
yapacağımız bir iş var.
today's meeting, you
Ya çayı her zaman çayı her zaman içeriz. Ama bu sohbeti ne
we
zaman
can
bulacağız?
have a cup of tea anytime, but this is a rare opportunity.
Başkan, başkan. Peki ben size birer çay paketi versem nasıl olur? Hani çay? Hani çay? Hadi burada çay içir bize. Çıkar şunu, çıkar. Burada çay ikram edecek yer yok mu? He? Ya hepsini almayız, sadece hanımları alırız. Halil, burada aşağıda çay içeceğimiz bir yer yok mu?
Halil, is there any place downstairs where we can have a cup of tea? Do we have?
Aşağıda bir yer varsa. Kaç kişilik? Burada daha fazla. Peki şöyle bir şey yapsak mı? Aşağıda bir 50-60 kişilik yer
Maybe
var.
we should do it that way.
Bir grup
There's
böyle
this
alalım,
place
girelim.
for 50,
Ondan
60
sonra
people.
50-60
Maybe we
kişiyle
can first
çayımızı
invite
içtikten
a
sonra
group of
ikinci
people
50-60'ı alalım.
and then have a cup of tea with that group of people, 50, 60 maybe, and then we will allow the second group of 50, 60 people into that place.
Gençler, biliyorsun.
Dear youth,
Öncelik hanımlarda.
dear youth, you know, ladies first, always.
Biraz sabırlı olun. Öncelik
Show a little
hanımlarda.
patience.
Hanımlarla bir çay
Ladies
içelim
first,
önce.
we
Tamam.
will just have a cup of tea with the ladies first.
Bu düşüncelerle nasıl olsa
So
yıl
with
sonu
these thoughts in
inşallah
mind, and already we will be
havalimanımızın açılışına
visiting the province
geldiğimizde
again by the end of the year for the inauguration of the airport,
havalimanımızı
and hopefully when we come
çay
back,
içme
we
mahallinde ağırlayacağız.
we will be hosting you at
Rize genişletilmiş il
the
tanışma
airport,
toplantısında
where the
bir defa
cafeteria will
hanım
be,
kardeşlerim
and at the
sandıklara iyi
extended
hakim olacağız.
Rize, a provincial
Oralardan en ufak bir taviz bırakmayacağız. Ülkemiz
consultative
için
meeting.
hayırlara vesile
I would
olacak
like
bir
to say
adımı
that we will never
atıyoruz.
leave the ballot boxes
Kuruluşundan bugüne teşkilatlarımızda
alone.
görev
We will
alan
always be
tüm
by them,
kardeşlerime
and we will always knock on the doors of our
emekleri,
people. We will
sadakatleri
always
için
be out there.
tekrar
And I would like to
teşekkür
thank
ediyorum.
to all my brothers and
Rabbim
sisters
yolumuzu,
who have
bahtımızı
assumed roles in
açık
the
etsin diyor.
AK Party
Sizleri
ranks
bir
from
kez
its
daha
foundation
muhabbetle
on to
selamlıyorum.
our day.
Sağ olun,
And may God
var olun.
be with
Allah'a
us and
emanet olun.
help us. Thank you
AK
all
Parti
very
Genel
much.
Başkanı,
Stay in
Cumhurbaşkanımız
health.
Sayın Recep Tayyip Erdoğan'a hitaplarından dolayı şükranlarımızı ve saygılarımızı arz ediyoruz. Ve zat-ı devletlerine bir müddet daha sahnede misafir etmek istiyoruz. Gün anısına hediye takdim için efendim. Evet, gün anısına hediyelerini takdim etmek üzere il başkanımızı tekrar sahneye davet ediyoruz. Buyursunlar lütfen.